Hello, I'm Victor Salva, sitting here with easily two of my favorite people in the movie world. A writer-director of Jeepers Creepers, and I'm sitting next to...
I'm Gina Phillips, and I play Trisha Jenner.
I'm Harvey Weinstein, and I'm Justin Long, and I play Derry Jenner.
And now Justin's going to pronounce that word for us.
Cenerenta metriam tikorongos, KG.
Jeepers Creepers.
My favorite part of the movie.
I actually love the sound. I remember when you showed
creepy.
me what you were going to do, or played it for me. I love the sound.
This is a slowed down, this is like one note slowed down to like 1,000,000 times, and it just sounded so weird.
That was a fake pasture. They put in each one of those stalks.
It's all digital, right? Well, here's a little known fact that may pull you out of the movie. This isn't Justin or Gina in this car.
It isn't?
Who is it?
It's your doubles.
Huh.
Shia
That's
LaBeouf.
how
I
good
did
they
not
were.
know that.
That's how good they were.
I feel hot just looking at
The
this.
heat is real.
I know.
though,
I'll
isn't
never
it?
forget how hot that
Yeah,
was. My
that
God.
was crazy.
So it was August, right? And we shot in upstate. It was in Ocala County, which is about an hour north
good
of
memory,
And
yeah.
we
Orlando.
shot in the middle of a freak heat wave.
That's right.
Back then it was freak. Now it would be typical of the greenhouse effect, but back then it was.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
right.
in the hundreds. It was
Yeah.
crazy. The first few weeks.
In fact, our B cameraman fell off the top of the truck and then had an epileptic seizure on the floor the day one of shooting. Look at the beautiful Gina.
You're kidding, right?
Thanks, Victor.
This shot,
On this road?
Oh,
I haven't
yeah.
seen a car in 50 miles.
wow, that was a very complicated thing to do back then. It'd probably be very easy to do now.
Well, because
How-
you wouldn't actually do it driving now.
Come on, Derry.
You
So
guys
we-
were so young and adorable.
I just remember being in that car for, it felt like years. We were on that for, it must have been
Oh,
a
my
week
God,
or two,
yes.
you know? How
Oh,
long
at
was
least
it?
a week, a solid week at least,
Yeah.
right? And then at night, too.
We had 2 weeks, I think, on that and on the trailer.
Yeah.
Not a G, you idiot.
And there were all these little, remember they had just, there was love bugs that they had engineered.
Oh.
Some school nearby, like Florida State, had engineered these love bugs to get rid of the mosquitoes.
Yes.
And then they became a problem themselves. and
They
they were
were
like chipping, the
everywhere.
transport guys hated them because they were chipping the paint off the cars.
How do you remember that?
I'm a huge
It's all
nerd.
coming back
Wow.
now. It's all coming back.
I like,
Oh, you're so cute, Justin.
He's
why
adorable.
do you say it with a laugh afterwards?
Because you're so cute.
Why can't you commit to it?
Okay, you're so cute, Justin.
Drive, Brad.
Hey, I'm only thinking the same thing Mom and Dad are going to be thinking.
Thinking. Oh God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can watch.
Just no, don't.
Brother,
Why do I have? Is that a?
stop somewhere with that nice Mr.
Is that a wedding ring? No.
I will tell them the exact same thing I'll tell you. None of your goddamn business.
I'm sorry. It's been 16 years since we made this, and all I can think of now is how hot it was. But it's such a boring thing to keep repeating. But it was. I see this, and all I can think of is like, God, downing the water, and that PA guy. Remember that? There was a really sweet PA who, before we would roll, he'd say, "Do you need it?" He was overzealous. He said, "Do you want anything?" I said, "No, just the water's good." And one time I said, "I'd love it. I'd actually love it, Talmar." And it was right before we took off on
A
the
what?
Exactly. And he was like, "Okay, gotcha." And I could see him registering.
Oh,
What is a Talmar?
I remember this was the last. The sun was just going down, and we still hadn't gotten it right. And if this didn't work this time, we were going to have to scrub it and think of something else. That I remember.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry the truck came up so fast because there was another verse of the song I wrote that I really wanted to hear Justin sing, and he never gets to it because the creeper truck gets there too fast.
Oh yeah. This was the night before you wrote this like. I remember I didn't have a lot of time with this. You would just.
I got to write a lot of stuff in your voice once we had cast you.
Here we go.
That's my voice. That's how you hear me.
Oh my goodness.
Just get out of his way, Derry!
This was genuinely kind of scary.
Yeah.
I remember.
How was that for you guys?
Yeah.
'Cause there was a
it
stunt
was.
guy in the truck, but you guys were kind of really there, and
A lot of the driving stuff was, for me, scary.
Yeah, I mean we were on an insert car, right?
Yeah,
I mean we were
yeah.
towed, but they were driving in such a way that It actually was. It was scary. And these roads were just. Truly, they barely had to lock off traffic. I remember.
Yeah.
There was really
Yeah,
no.
we almost.
It's a
I think
perfect
we
place to
owned
shoot.
this road.
Yeah.
Me just driving stick shift was scary.
You had to
My-
learn a stick shift for this film, right?
I had to learn.
Yeah.
I had to go in one of the student driver cars in LA, and I kept stalling in the middle of Culver City. And
My first guess in Britain.
I felt so self-conscious saying that line.
I was just thinking, you really committed.
Yeah. I remember you. I remember you directly say more like it's. You really gotta let him have it. And it. So because that was a one. Right? We just needed that one line outside the car. I remember being really Sometimes it's so much harder to just say one line. You start overthinking.
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
One word
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
worst.
Kenny and Darla.
They died about 100 miles from here.
Why does my voice sound so weird?
The state.
You were young then. Maybe
Like, I
your
hadn't
nuts
gone to
hadn't dropped
puberty.
yet.
Oh,
We don't know.
baby.
That's a pretty good hero shot there, you Justy.
Thank
Look
you.
at both of you guys look gorgeous in this.
Well, thanks. We're young.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
As you're wheezing into your.
I loved shooting there. I remember there was a lot of crew guys from LA, and people would complain about being in the middle of nowhere in Central Florida, nothing to do. I just felt like it's my first time like really on my own, and
Yeah.
I had a big crush on Gina. I was like, I'm getting to be
did?
with this. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Of course I did. Are you crazy?
I never
remember,
felt that you had a crush on me.
I remember
mean-
all of us meeting at the Walmart.
Yeah, we'd
almost
hang out at the
every
Walmart,
day,
yeah.
because it
God,
was
there
so
was nothing else
cool
to
in
do,
there, and there's
too.
nothing to do, and it was air conditioned.
Yes.
You'd see the whole cast and crew.
Yes,
there.
yes. Oh, I
At
got
like
to know
2 in
all
the
the
morning.
employees of Walmart. At the end, I was hugging them goodbye, and so you're not coming back because we would also on our days off we'd do a night shoot, so you'd have to stay up all
Yeah.
night on the.
We'd go at like 2 in the morning
Oh.
buying exercise equipment.
That's right. We bought stuff that we would never. I bought like chia pets, like dozens of them. Badminton equipment. What am I gonna do with this? I left so much stuff in that, and we stayed in these condos that were. It was a retirement, not a retirement
Yes, it
building.
was.
It
It
was a
was-
retirement town.
Do you remember they had
The villages.
The villages.
Yes, the villages. Music was coming up from the streets. They had music playing.
Oh, wait, I gotta interrupt
Now,
you for 1
yes.
second. For
Oh, the PC.
Are you really peeing?
I'm
here?
really peeing. That's pee.
But I said cut, and you stopped, and then we did it again, and you peed again.
Because I'm a genius.
I love my hair flip as I come up from peeing. What's that?
You know, let's give a shout out to actually showing a girl peeing for once. That never happens in
Yeah,
any
that's
movie.
true.
It's true.
People always say, "Oh, Gina Phillips out in that field." I remember that. I don't think
groundbreaking.
it's because they've never seen anything
RP
like
is
that.
private.
Specify, please. You drink the last water? Last one was mine.
You know, I don't want to gush the whole 90 minutes, but this scene is another perfect indication of how great you guys work together.
You can gush.
Just
Keep
really
going.
clicked. Just really clicked.
We did click. We
And
clicked.
I think that's one of the reasons why people love this movie. You know, when I get approached, I don't know about you guys, when I get approached, it's not about the creeper. They love that brother and sister.
Yeah.
We
So-
got along really well right away. I remember feeling very comfortable with Gina.
Same. Immediately when we auditioned together,
Yeah.
when we read together, it was just
I
there.
felt magic. I felt magic. And as I was explaining to Justin earlier, you guys almost weren't in this movie because MGM wanted some WB stars, and Francis is the one who had to step in and say, Victor gets whoever he wants. So and that's why there's no stunt or star casting in this, which is another reason why I think this movie works so well, you know?
Well, thank you, Francis Coppola.
WB, we should tell the kids watching, was before the CW.
Before
Oh,
the
yeah.
CW.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was the... And now is it still the CW?
Yeah,
or
I
is
think
it
so.
Yeah.
CTW or something? I don't know.
I think it's the CW.
WB stood for White Brats. That's what they would feature on their shows.
Pretty white brats.
Yeah.
Coming up on the first creeper reveal,
I love this.
Jonathan Breck. Everyone I've talked to said it was their idea to have these takes really weren't working, and then I said, hey, why don't we do one where you just stare at them as they drive past? But Breck says, I had this idea that I would just stare at them for the last take while they drove past, and then someone else
Really?
told me it was their idea, so you know.
Can I mean, this is going to sound controversial, but it was actually my idea.
Well, now the mystery is solved. This church was burned down. And they think George Steinbrenner burned it down because
What?
so many people would drive. This is right across this road from his horse ranch. And
What? That's so random.
Brian, my old assistant Brian, who still lives in Florida, told me this story. He said that they think Steinbrenner burned it down when he was still alive because he got tired of people coming out to look at the Jeepers Creepers
wow.
church.
You're kidding. Steinbrenner.
Look at the old school cell phone.
The old cell phone that flips
Oh,
open.
yeah.
There's no way you can. Your movie's going to be dated no matter what you put.
Yeah,
in.
sure. And that was right when cell phones had just become
Kind of the thing
the
you
thing.
have.
Yeah, everyone had. It was a trope that you had to take care of in a horror movie, I guess.
Now he almost said fuck there because
Yes.
at what point I said, you guys, you're putting fuck in every
That's
line.
right.
Stop saying fuck, and that was Justin
Yes,
just pulling
I stopped
back.
yeah.
Pulling
pull up,
back
pull
on
up. Turn fuck into a goddammit. Fudge!
Is there a limit on the amount of fucks?
Fart.
You guys were throwing him in
yeah.
every line.
Or
Yeah,
potty
it's a
mouths.
crutch. It was a
Yeah.
crutch because it's, yeah, it's a good expressive word. Now, of course,
Oh, we had so much fun cutting this with you guys. You guys were
it's been
so
replaced by the word cunt.
genuinely scared. It was very easy to find the pieces.
Yeah, this stuff was exhausting to do. Remember how tiring it was to do
Yeah.
these takes? It's to get, you know. It's exhausting being scared.
Well, it was emotional and it was also physical.
Oh yeah,
and
you guys are. I mean, it takes a lot of energy to be scared. I mean, you really have to generate a lot of energy for that.
and
That's
it was
why-
170 degrees.
That's why I just phone things in now. This is a lot
No
easier.
comment.
Once the 2010s hit.
Yeah, I've got some interesting stuff about your process, Justin, a little later down the line when I see some of it that I found interesting. And Gina's too. I learned a lot about actors from you guys. Don't forget, I mean, this is only like my second or third film. I had a lot to learn on this
What
film.
did you learn from us, Victor?
Oh my goodness.
I just think those shots are beautiful. That countryside was beautiful.
And Donnie shot this so
Don was
beautifully.
great. Yeah.
Donnie is a wonderful, wonderful DP.
Oh boy.
You look
What am I
scared.
doing? It's a lot. Showing a lot. Keep it inside, Justin. My friend is in the room watching this.
Never show.
Half an eye.
I think the lesson here is, commentary recorder, never show the actors the movie and ask them to talk about it while it's being shown, you know.
Especially the
There's
really
the pink
insecure ones.
underwear. Thank you, continuity.
There was something about that because I'm forgetting all these little.
This is my favorite. I think this
Story's
is
probably
my
for the
favorite.
best.
My favorite scene of you guys. The finale's good, but I just love the interplay here.
I don't remember being worried we didn't get this. We shot this at the end of the day, right? Don't you remember?
We were always losing our line.
Oh, losing light, yeah.
I learned it from you.
This is where actors make the writer look really good.
Wait. I'm thinking past the point.
I still have a
beautiful.
bunch of those shirts.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, every once in a while, somebody I'll give them out to somebody. And they're like, "Why are you giving me this? What is this?" I'm just gonna auction them off.
We're watching the scene now. I guess we're not supposed to. Be
Oh, yeah,
No,
no, it's just a talk.
we're all riveted. I got lost in my performance.
Get help fast by getting to the phone.
I just like the way Donnie always finds a way to shape you guys with light, no matter what.
Why?
You know, it's just so beautiful. He's such a classic cinematographer.
That's it.
The look is very classic.
A little adventure or something.
I remember again. This is like I don't know if this is worth telling, but do you remember? I remember peeing during the scene when we were doing the scene, having to go off from set, and there were these enormous banana spiders. Do you remember that? Everywhere, all over the
No.
place, and I almost ran into one. Again, really not worth telling.
No, I blocked that out.
We can cut all this, most of this stuff out.
But at least we have the images. You peeing, giant banana
Yeah,
spider.
yeah, you can see it
sounds
all.
like a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
And then the flying cockroaches that were attacking us every night as we came home, or
Yeah,
morning.
palmetto
7
bugs.
The
a.m.
insects. They told us the insects were giant there, and I didn't believe them, but they were massive.
No,
Yeah,
that was
massive.
insane.
All kinds of species too. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was like a
amazing.
50s.
But they
Sci-fi
were like
movie.
angry. Like I would open the door and it was like 7 in the morning. We'd come home. They come flying.
Gina
at
called
your
me.
face.
You called me on the phone because we were living in these condos next to each other. Yeah, you got to come over right now. Help! And it was like that scene scene in Annie Hall when he said, "Jeez, you know, I'm gonna need a bigger bat, to get the spider." It's a spider. It's the two of them.
I came screaming out in the middle of the street to you, Justin,
Yes.
Justin. He's like, what? What's wrong? I'm like, the flying cockroaches.
And I was like, "Sure, cockroaches. Yeah, she just wants me over there."
I begged them to paint out those power lines digitally because I said it doesn't ruralize the church enough.
It's funny. I
et cetera,
never
et cetera.
noticed
I
that.
never noticed it
until-
either.
So I'm not going to worry about it then.
No.
Well, now everyone will notice it.
Now that's
You pointed it
the
out.
only thing people will
Yeah.
notice, right? This line in theaters got a huge laugh, and I never quite understood it. Jesus Christ, it's a church.
I don't get Jesus. Oh yeah, well,
It is a funny line,
Yeah.
but you never.
I never th-
I only get laughs from lines I write that I don't think are funny. So I should just like
Just keep trying not to be funny.
exactly.
You'll be able to write the
desperately.
best comedy. That's a cool shot.
It is.
How did they get those crows to? I remember there's a crow wrangler.
Yeah, they conflicting reports because the crows in Jeepers 2 did not have to be on wires, did not have to be tied to anything, did not have to be anything. And the people who did these crows told us, oh no, crows are far too intelligent. If we let them go, they'll never come back. So there has to be wires and wire removal. Then we got to Los Angeles and shot Jeepers 2 with their crows, and it was like, who the hell told you that?
Oh really? Maybe the crow union in Florida is a little different.
Remember, I do remember, speaking of Crow Union, we were not allowed to take a camera and shoot any shots of crows flying across the sky. It was illegal.
What?
Why?
I still don't understand. You're not allowed to photograph crows
Huh?
in Florida. I don't know.
Oh, the old Jim Crow laws.
Well-
Sorry,
Oh my
sorry,
God, no.
sorry.
I was going to do a
no.
Jeb Bush. You did a Jim
Oh
Crow.
boy.
He was governor then. He wanted a photo op with all of us. I don't know if you guys
He did?
remember this. He
No.
wanted to come and visit and do a photo op, and it never happened. Yeah, he was governor then when we shot.
Wasn't there some politician who came Francis Ford Coppola had that dinner for everybody before we started shooting at the one fancy restaurant in the whole
Yeah.
county.
Why don't I remember this?
That's when I embarrassed myself. The financier who was German, I blurted out something about Buchenwald,
Oh, no.
and I thought he was going to fire me. I remember thinking, that's it. Even before we start, I'm fired.
These dripping tunnel shots, I think, are some of the best
These
tricks
are cool.
in the movie because we're
We're on a stage.
in a warehouse,
Yeah.
on a stage. There's no greenery anywhere except what's right behind you.
Yeah.
And it's just such an amazing illusion to me. Every
I
time
know.
these shots are cut together, I
Well,
go,
yeah.
"That's
Here's
the
what I
magic."
remember about these shots.
Yeah. What do you remember?
I remember, well, we shot part of it outside, and then
Right,
this was
at the
in
actual
studio.
church.
And
Right.
I remember the AD made a mistake and put something else on the call sheet, and I got to work and found out we were shooting this, and I didn't know a word of it. And I went to Victor, and I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know one word. The AD had not put it on the call sheet.
Jason. Was that Jason?
No, it was someone that then
But
was...
it was a big scene for you, and
It
you
was a
were not
woman
ready
that
for it.
was
Oh
no
my
longer
God.
there. Then
And
she
you-
left.
Oh, you
It was
had
a,
her.
yes,
you
a
had
big...
her,
yeah, no, yeah.
You
kinda.
were understandably miffed about that.
Well, I wasn't angry. I was scared. I was like, oh my God.
course.
Like,
And
I
that's one of the
like to
things,
prepare.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
one of the things I learned about actors then. You weren't angry. You were scared. At that time, I thought, they really do storm off to their trailers. What the hell is this about?
I
Sometimes
just-
that translates
That's
into
when
Yeah.
I realized
Yeah.
what it really is. And let me tell you, it has helped me so much. With the exception of maybe 2 actors in the world, it has helped
Ooh,
me so
do tell.
much understanding.
Well, this wasn't an improv movie. There's some movies where it's
That's
we had
true.
to
This
really
was all
stick
very
to the
scripted.
dialogue.
Yeah.
It was very scripted.
Oh,
and,
I totally got it. Now I totally get it.
And I literally, it was, and some of the scenes I just knew anyway, even though we weren't there yet. I didn't know a word of it. And I just
Aye.
went, oh my God, I have, I remember asking our makeup artist, this lovely man, to just take his time.
Isn't that funny? That
While I memorized.
they were great. Gunnar and Mark.
Oh, I loved them. I loved
They were
them.
great.
Oh, and there's Bear the Rat was the big rat.
Oh,
I
I-
Oh,
loved him.
Bear, yeah.
And they got so scared.
Yeah, I
They were
felt
so
so bad for
sweet.
these rats.
These rats
No,
were
because
so
they got really
sweet.
scared right here, and there was
Yeah.
nothing we could do. We
'Cause
had
we
to
were
scare them
screaming.
a little bit.
Oh. Oh, that's very dramatic.
And one of those rats was really name dropping. I remember they had worked with Lance Henriksen and all these people. That was in. Remember that I was on a. Talk about this shot. This is cool.
Yeah, we stole the shot from The Omen. Actually, he was on Justin was on a skateboard rolling toward a wall that's straight up and down. He's not falling, but we were supposed to zoom out as you fall down. That's what they did in The Omen. And we were running behind that day, and I thought I had all my bells and whistles in place. But people still talk about that shot, so I maybe didn't need the zoom. But the
It's a
zoom
cool
would have helped
shot.
it look like there was more distance. I have to talk about Patty Fullerton, my continuity person, Gina, because
Who I love.
Patty, yeah.
she would pull me aside.
Real blood.
She always thought I favored Justin, and maybe I did because I wrote, Justin's part with, I'm a boy, and I wrote Justin's boy part in mine. But she pulled me aside. She would continue to pull me aside and go, "Did you just see what that girl did for you?
Aww.
Did you just see
Love
what
you,
that
Patty."
girl did for you?" And I would go,
You're
and I
what
would
girl?
look at it, and I would go, "No, Justin, now get me in trouble." And that's what made me realize, yeah, you put it out there. And I think that's one of the reasons why that scene at the end is just so powerful.
That's
Yeah.
so
By
sweet.
that time, I had figured something out about you and me. And, there is a point when young directors, now that I'm so old, when young directors figure out that your actors are either going to be your proponents or your allies. And by this time in the shooting, I realized we were all on the same side, and you guys could really help me tell the story. Instead of being seen as obstacles, I saw you guys as
I just remember both of us.
Compadres.
We just wanted it to be good. We
Oh,
would
yeah,
rehearse on
God.
our days off. Like we just.
Yeah.
That's so
Really
fantastic.
wanted to do a
I
good
don't know.
job.
I've
Yeah,
never.
we worked hard.
I've done. I don't think I've ever made a film since this where actors would even do that.
We worked on this, and I had no, but it's funny. I never conceived of it as being a thing that people were going to see. I know that sounds strange, but
No, I totally get that.
I
you
do.
know,
I get it too. Yeah.
I just thought, oh God, I just hope it's good for. I knew Coppola was going to see it, and I was like, somebody's going to see it. But the fact that people still today, so many people
all
stop
of
me
these little set pieces,
about
like this one, I mean, it's full of little set pieces. And people tell me that if they catch it on the TV, no matter where they catch it, they have to watch it till the end, which is, I think the pieces really kind of work, and they kind of hook to each other, and you get kind of sucked
That's
in
gorgeous.
no matter where you come into it.
There's water. They.
That's.
I remember they had water by these lights. It's all very specific lighting.
We read 1,000, well, not 1,000.
This guy was great.
We read hundreds of kids, said to be a local hire. We found this kid. He was the only one who auditioned and really knocked it out of the park. On the day we shot it, though, his mom was standing right over all our shoulders staring
Oh,
down
yeah.
at him. And I swear, he's okay in this, but he never got to the point he got to in the audition that was so stunning. And I know it's because, I don't know, the mom thought we were like evil Hollywood people or something, and we're going to like clutch him or something, but she just stared at us the whole time, and I know it affected his.
Can't wait for her to hear
He's
this.
still really good though.
He
wonder if
moved
she's
to
listening.
Hollywood. He moved to Hollywood with his boyfriend. I met him about 8 years ago, this kid. Yeah, he got the acting bug
I
from this.
think
and
I
moved
ran
out
into him
here.
somewhere as well. And now that you mention it, I think I did run into this guy.
Forgot to grease up his hair, though. I never liked that his hair was so.
Yeah, that's what people are looking at, the
Yeah,
hair.
the hair.
Actors think
So
of weird
funny.
things, just like actors do. Like, oh my God, my butt looks so big in that, or my hair.
This
is
guy with
really-
his like stitched up organs removed, and no
The
one's
hair.
looking at his hair
Good point, Justin.
except for
Good
you
point,
and
Justin.
maybe his mother.
His mother was looking at him.
Yeah.
This is a terrific little beat, if I do say so
I
myself.
can see him breathing.
And everyone hated my character from this scene.
Why?
Just thought selfish and yeah.
Oh,
She's freaking out up there.
I redeem later, but yeah.
you don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
We did a little dubbing to take the edge off you. Remember, we re-recorded some of your lines so you weren't quite so big sisterish, is
Yeah,
what I want
yeah.
to call it.
I saw this with a packed audience in Bridgeport, Connecticut, on the opening night because there was no premiere for it or anything. And I saw it with my mom, and we were the only two white people in the whole theater. And there were three big ladies in front of me who were during this scene when I go down to investigate because this is the the classic
yeah.
horror movie moment. Like I go to And they were furious. They were livid that I was going, "What you do?" "Oh, that stupid white boy going to get his ass killed." I remember them saying. They were furious with me.
I had a similar experience here. I went to see it opening night,
Yeah.
same kind of audience, and they were screaming the
Screaming.
whole movie, talking to me,
Oh,
stupid
such
white girl.
yeah.
It was, yeah.
Now, I got the greatest compliment of my life on opening night on this when Tom and I and a gaggle of us went up to see it at Universal. Half of the audience stayed through the end titles, which I thought was really weird.
Oh wow.
But these three guys who had no idea who I was, they got up. They were in their mid-20s, and I wasn't sure how the film had worked because I was in the back row and I couldn't hear all their noise. But these three guys went, just as they passed me, it was like the universe giving me just this one little present. Man, that was some scary-ass shit.
That's awesome.
And the other guy said, yeah, and we are not driving to Vegas tonight.
What? What is that?
And I thought, okay, scared them out of driving to Vegas. That must mean it really got under their skin.
That's great.
That's great.
I
see, that,
actually, I saw it at Universal as well, but I sat outside. I was too scared to go in, and all of a sudden I saw people coming out asking for their money back. So I was like, oh my God, it's horrible. And I was so sad, and I was outside by myself. All my friends were inside. It turns out the sound went out in the movie.
Oh my God.
So they had to give people their money back.
That is the worst nightmare.
Yeah.
My
of
God.
any.
And then we
That
went
is
into
the
another
worst
theater and saw it. It was
scenario
like
you
every
can
hour
find.
that was playing. It was horrible.
All of your deepest fears.
You're like.
I was by
God
myself
damn it.
sitting there. All my friends were, and I just see people
Callback.
coming out and asking for their money back.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Brad Parker designed all these wonderful table carvings.
Oh yeah,
and
these were so cool.
all those wonderful things. He was
Brad
such a big
Parker-
part of the process.
Brad was he drew
He
comic
is
books.
now.
He is now.
He's left the business, and now he is like the god of tiki art. I mean, he has his own shows around the
Wow.
world, and he does this amazing tiki art. He went to oil painting, which he'd never done before. I'm not kidding. Anything he puts his mind to, he becomes really
That's
brilliant
amazing.
at.
Wow.
But yeah, he's huge. He lives over in Hawaii now and does
Tiki
primarily
art.
Tiki art.
I think I read that on his
Look it up.
Tikipedia page.
His stuff's amazing. Take a look at it.
Yeah, because those bodies, there was such detail. Who designed the body? That was Penicus, right?
Creepy.
Brian
Yes,
Penicus.
Brian Penicus.
Yeah.
Bodies and Creeper and all the makeup effects in this. We turned up the dimmers here slowly. The idea was that Derry's eyes were adjusting, and suddenly he was realizing that it was wall-to-wall bodies everywhere.
Just
You
his
giggle?
friend is here sitting in the back of the room with her eyes closed, and
She
every
hates
so
horror movies.
often one eye opens a little to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah.
Why would Justin bring a person who can't
Yeah.
stand horror movies to the Jeepers Creepers
You would
commentary
think it's
screen?
a little cruel. It's kind of a shitty thing to do.
I remember reading one review that said, "The crows in Victor Salva's movies make sounds even when their mouths don't move." And I thought, geez,
Wow.
how do you know?
Yeah, that's
Have you ever seen a crow? I mean, does a crow's mouth open?
what a
for-
nitpicky thing. I know. What is that, like Richard Attenborough who reviewed the movie?
Nice reference.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is...
Not since Dumbo have I seen such vocal crows.
Some people just need something to complain about,
I remember being weirdly turned on by that woman's body. I
And
know
this
that's
is
an
why
awful-
we got a nudity warning in our
Yeah.
R rating because
Oh,
of
really? For
the
this?
naked lady.
I get it.
Yes.
Do you actually see anything? I didn't see nip or.
Just shadows,
Right.
really.
Okay.
They're called the shadow regions, I think, Justy. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Yeah, the Netherlands.
The pink parts.
The Neverlands.
Never.
There's Darla. Kenny's next. Strangely enough, this couple, Kenny and Darla, play hugely into Jeepers Creepers 3.
Oh.
We
A
go
little
back
teaser
in,
for the home audience.
Yeah, we go back in time to and learn a lot more about their story.
Kenny and Darla.
I loved this idea when I wrote it, and Donnie was the one that figured out the right lens to do it, because now you get yelled at a lot in this scene because we really didn't even bring the sound of the truck in until just after you turn and stare at it, which is probably us cheating a little bit. But part of these movies is to torture the audience.
You had gained 2 pounds for the role, right? You said you felt like she needed to be.
I beefed up.
Beef up that role.
You're so tiny.
That's why the creeper didn't want her. Not enough meat.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a hay truck. Everything's fine. We should just do this for the rest of the
Once again, we were losing our light, and it was starting to rain.
Yes,
I don't know if you
yes.
guys remember that.
I do.
I do.
remember
And
that.
Justin needed about 45 minutes to emotionally prepare for this.
Don't
which
say
I,
that.
No, which I thought was crazy. But
Look at the raindrops.
when I saw this look on his face, I thought, oh my God, that
It was-
kid is a great actor.
Wait, was
It was worth
40
the 45 minutes. That was
it
the
was,
45
it was
minute
longer
look,
than
Justin.
that, probably.
What?
But it was worth
Don't
it.
tell people
The
that. Is
point
that true?
It was worth
That's
it.
the 58 minute look.
That's not true.
Yeah, you said I
There we
I'm
go,
gonna
right
need some
there.
time for
58
this
minute
one.
look.
Yeah, I was listening to
It's
music and
magnificent.
stuff, and
No, it's really, you hit that note, and Gene is, both you guys are terrific.
but then
in
we
that
ran
scene.
out of non-raining. When we turned around, you see it raining. Oh God, I feel like, wow, it was.
And I had
feel
the
so high
opposite
maintenance now.
process from him. I always would have to joke right before a take that was emotional.
Really?
Well,
I would, yeah.
I remember this
It's
came
like-
at the end of a long
Yes.
emotional thing. There's a lot, a big spiel, a big like dramatic.
Well, this was a big scene for
And
you.
there was a great, and Gina had to do this in a terrible rush, this side of it,
Oh, yeah.
remember? We
Yeah.
were
Oh, yeah.
losing our light.
It was
Yeah.
like,
And you
it
were
was
afraid
almost
we
dark.
didn't get it.
Yeah, I really monopolized a lot of this.
You
looking
did.
back,
You did.
Oh, good old Pertwilla.
It was all that prep time.
it was prep. But also, do you remember there was all this big speech before, and like I saw Kenny and Darla, and I was saying all this. It was just too much. It was.
Now, there's a humorous moment at this. You kept going on and on,
Yeah.
and I'm on a walkie going, okay, good, stop. Okay, shut up.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, stop.
yeah.
Stop. Finally, we just turned the sound down, but it's a brilliant take, though, you have to admit. You know, it's really terrific. But you could have gone on for days.
Yeah. I never felt satisfied with it. But then you just used, rightly so, not the part where I'm like overdoing
But that's
it.
one of those beats where it just, this movie, not to compliment us, but this movie takes such a dour note of drama here that it just stops feeling like a monster movie, and the gloom of it starts to kind of descend, you know?
Yeah.
And Bennett's music
Great
helps a lot,
yeah.
Oh
too.
my gosh.
Bennett
yeah.
ended up doing. I saw him in. Did he do Breaking Bad?
I don't
He
know.
did something that, or Friday Night Lights. Or,
Oh, yeah, he did Friday
yes,
Night
yeah,
Lights.
yeah.
He
I
did
knew
this
something I
great
binge-watched.
broken, he did this kind of
That's a good
Fuller
band.
sad
House.
broken melody
God.
for the brother and sister
Wow.
that you're hearing right now.
I loved this location.
Yeah.
I love these places like this.
When people pulled
In the
up and
South.
wanted gas and stuff, and it was a fake gas station. Remember that? I
Yeah.
remember
That's
that
funny.
happening. Yeah, this is much. The print we're looking at is much darker and grainier. I mean, this is a gorgeous shot, really. A lot of golden light and everything here.
You just call
I look like a Dominican. Yeah, this was a. We shot this at Magic Hour too. This was really.
Yeah. I remember telling Donnie.
God, Don was great.
I remember telling Donnie, God, that's really beautiful, but should it be? It's the creeper truck. But
Yeah.
the light was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes. Still good to make it pretty.
Spanish moss. I didn't appreciate it at the time how.
No, and
How
you
attractive
didn't-
this
and
movie
I don't
is.
know if
Yeah.
you guys
And the
found
trees
out the
are
hard way. You
gorgeous.
don't touch Spanish moss. It looks
Yeah,
soft,
yeah.
but it is all prickles and bugs and,
Yeah.
and thorns.
Excuse me. Excuse me, we need help.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, these.
This was an awkward one for me.
Yeah.
I remember that. I really, I felt really awkward in this
There was
scene.
I don't know if it was from a director's point of view. We never had enough time, so this was. I see this location and I feel stress. Instantly feel stress.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's something Twilight Zone about everyone
Yeah, that's true.
just staring and kind of overdoing.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was silent. Everyone was just staring,
Yeah.
and it was
It's very
it's just
off-putting.
awkward.
And what didn't one of these guys work at Pinky? Was his name? Was that?
Yeah,
that
he
his
was
name?
an acting coach, and he's
Right.
at the machine over here when the phone rings.
Right. Are you gonna
And-
get that?
Do you know what I remember? There was a whole monologue
We
here
had
that was
to- we
cut
cut
about a
Gina's
potato
monologue.
bug.
Now I wouldn't. Now I would leave it in. I just
What
would
was
have
it about?
left it in.
It was
Gina
about
had
a
big-
potato bug.
It was a
Just remember
bonding
that.
moment about how I know you're scared, but listen, remember, it was a really
yes,
terrific little
yes.
bit, and I was so worried about. Well,
The pacing. Or, yeah.
yes, because of course, the stupid preview screenings and the 12 people who stay at the end to say where it was slow and stuff. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
start
Yeah.
to freak out. Although, in fairness, that might not have been my decision ultimately. There he is. Cherry was his
You're
last
gonna
name.
get that.
Yeah, hello.
For the kids watching, those are payphones, things that they used to have around. Then you put money into it, and
Who the hell is this? How do you know Derry?
that's a cord. That's what you call a cord on a phone.
Now, this whole conversation was rewritten based on Justin's on-screen lines. I rewrote Patricia Belcher's entire
Really?
conversation. Yes, we had to for another story. We decided to take the story in a totally different direction. That was my favorite Dick Van Dyke
Oh
moment.
Lord!
I
Good
love my
Lord.
Dick Van Dyke moment. You pulled it off, Justine.
Thanks. I love doing hammy stuff.
Yeah, I rewrote all of her dialogue because I realized that whatever was in the original script was no longer. We needed to point it in a different direction and do more House of Pain and do more. But whatever Justin and you said on screen, I had to write for that. Yeah, so it's a totally different conversation than what we shot. I know that probably sounds weird, but
The rose tattoo reminds me of. It's happened a few times since this movie came out where people don't believe. I say, "Are you the guy from Jeepers?" Yeah. Let me prove it. Let me see the rose tattoo.
yeah, they
And
think
they
it's
think
really
it's,
down there.
And when I can't show it, they
You're not that
think
guy.
I'm weirdly lying. What a strange thing to lie about.
Am I beating you? No, think about it. Think about it, for Christ's sake.
That is
That's
my
Victor.
high school graduation
Yeah.
picture.
Yep.
Not really crooner looking.
It's a cool cameo.
This is our first exposure to the Jeepers Creepers song.
And who's this? Who did this?
I think this is the soundtrack from a 1934 film that it was written for, but I can't for the life of me remember who's
And then
singing
Susie and the Banshees is the one playing
Yeah.
later in the.
Yes, exactly.
Not in your worst, most terrible nightmare. Fuck you, lady.
That was some good hand acting, by the way. Did you catch
Thanks.
your hand?
Thanks.
Your handshake?
A
Yeah.
lot of He
Woo,
does a lot
really
of
good hand
this.
acting.
He does
Italian.
a lot of this. Finger splayed.
Derry? Hello?
Let's talk with the cops and get the hell out of here.
'Cause that was a lot of night shoots.
Oh,
It was like
yes,
2
it
months of
was.
nights.
As
Right.
it felt like, yeah.
Because I don't
mostly
think
good.
we had. Did we have 2 months to shoot this?
No.
Yeah,
no.
we did.
Was it?
We actually had time. It was just like 10 weeks.
Oh, this guy. Oh my God. I remember this.
Oh, this poor gentleman. He really had trouble.
Excuse me. 1 second. Let's just have. Sorry.
Now, Justin, how long did you work out for
I
that
did. I
shot?
was so vain. I was like, I gotta take my shirt
Every
off.
actor works
yeah,
out when they know
I
their shirt has to come off. That's
So
not vain. It's just the
vain.
nature of the beast.
Yeah, I worked out in my little. I got like weights from guess where
From
else?
Walmart.
Yeah, I was like,
This,
I didn't want to work out, but I had all these weights from Walmart.
This is a really great. This is another moment where your chemistry is just outstanding, you two. It's fantastic.
Well, you know, I have to say, I give some of the credit, not all of it, but I give you a lot of it because when we first got to Florida to shoot this, we actually had, I don't know, it was a few days, maybe a week of rehearsal time where you had us just improvising and you were videotaping it. Do you remember?
I remember that. That's how
Right.
long ago
That's
that
And
was.
it
right.
connected us so much. So anytime
Great.
something wasn't working, we had to change something on the fly,
Oh,
or
yeah.
anytime we got lost, we just we
Yeah.
went back to that, and
Yeah.
it really
In fact,
really helped us.
you guys came to me and said you wanted to write your own scene about this cop in the car, and I said yes, and we ended up using
Yeah,
we ended
yeah.
up using
the
part of it.
stripogram.
Yes.
Yeah, stripogram.
Stripogram cop.
Yeah. Well, he did. He didn't. He seemed so much more like.
This gentleman was another great audition, but when he got there with 100 people around him and lights and stuff, he just, I mean, literally, he came up to me and said, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't even get the words out of my mouth. I just felt
Well, he's
so
very handsome.
bad for him.
It does look like the strippogram thing. He's just really. He's,
and there's
he's
something
good-looking.
kind of more off-putting that he is just sort of stoic and.
Well, a lot of troopers have their cop
Yeah,
face, you know.
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's how I see it.
I like it.
It works, yeah.
Stuck up on the walls like some psycho version of the Sistine Chapel.
Meanwhile,
That was
really
a good
overdoing
line.
it there.
Are you kidding? It's not like your best scene in the movie. You're very hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
You're
this should
really
not
good
be doing
here.
this.
Slap.
Good, because I'm not.
Can you cut his mic back there, please?
Yeah.
This is a pretty big story you're laying on us here.
Oh, and she was.
That's your cover out the company.
She was very nice. This lady. What was her
Yeah.
name?
She gets a lot of work out there.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, I
great.
love doing these are little Spielberg dual camera tricks here. This
Oh yeah.
clunk, clunk, clunk. This is the
Duel from
only
Duel?
kind of movie where you can play like that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is. I mean, you wouldn't do that in a drama, would you? I mean, it would just look so silly.
Yeah, just overly like stylized. You must have had fun finding moments like that doing stuff.
This looks like every movie I shot in high school.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at Duel, you'll see a bunch of punch-ins.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Spielberg did a ton of that, and
Looked like he was liking it.
yeah.
We were just talking before we started rolling about how Victor saw Jaws in the theaters like 55 times.
When I was 16.
Really?
And then humiliated about it in the Martinez News Gazette.
I saw Jaws: The Revenge 52 times. in theaters.
Now that was your film school.
Yeah, just a big Michael Caine.
He's after us 'cause he knows what we saw.
Lance Guest.
You guys drive this in a way that most horror movies never get driven, which is why I honestly think it sticks in people's mind.
I hated, no disrespect to the line, I just couldn't, I hated saying that
Thanks,
line.
Mom.
Now he even knows my name. And you said, if you hate, just act like you hate it then. Just use that part of
it works.
And now he even knows my name. I hated having to say that.
But it totally, I mean, I totally buy it.
Now he even knows my name. Why would it make a difference that he knows my name?
Because your name's in your underwear.
You can dust that, right? Get a print.
This is one of my favorite shots coming up when
Yeah.
you pan up.
Oh, yeah.
I love that shot. Right here.
I don't know if people ever notice that shadow when the wing flap happens behind you there. But this is a wonderful way to...
Gina, you have not aged.
She still looks absolutely
crazy.
gorgeous, people
Wow.
who cannot see her in
I
this,
have aged, but
in this
thank you.
studio.
Thank you.
In this recording studio, she walked in and she was the only one who did not look like she aged.
Not the only one.
Justin's clearly
Well,
done
thank
some
you,
hard
thank you.
living since Jeepers Creepers.
It's been a long 16 years. Oh, this is cool too. These shots.
Oh my goodness! And you know what?
How'd you do this when you went back and forth with the camera?
I really loved. I didn't want to just cut. It's so easy to cut.
Yeah.
And it's another Spielberg note. Vilmos Zsigmond and Steven Spielberg in Sugarland Express with all those cop cars. Sometimes they, instead of cutting, they would just roll back and forth, or
fantastic.
It's great.
have them roll into each other's shot. And I said, let's do that. Let's just find a way to do this scene without just cut.
It's great.
There's me on the.
I can't remember. Was it really hard to do? Did we do a lot of takes of this?
I don't remember.
Not really.
We didn't do a lot of takes of anything, really. But
We didn't, did we?
no, the schedule was tight.
Yeah.
We did not.
Oh God, we were always out of time.
Yeah.
That and this money got lost. We're rewriting this whole section of the movie.
Oh yes. We had a lot of that.
Yeah.
Something tells me the creeper was not the one absconding with giant chunks of the budget.
This was the strippogram, right?
Oh, please. When he walked in, I thought the waitress had dialed the wrong number. The guy looked like a stripogram cop.
Like the missing link.
It's the only moment you guys actually get to laugh together. In the
It's
whole movie.
important, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is sports the national? Help you know which cows.
That's the song. That's the song. The words the same. Listen.
A lot of these night shoots, I just remember being so delirious at the end
Right?
Oh
driving
my
home with
God!
the sun
Driving
coming
home
up.
or driving through Jack in the Box with Brad Parker and Tom, we would just start laughing at the stupidest thing, and we couldn't
Delirious,
stop. We
yeah.
would just cry because we were so out of
Oh,
energy.
we would get so hyper.
Yeah, we'd come back to the
candy all night.
villages, and there'd be just all old people driving little golf carts like maniacs. And
I know,
it
it
was
was
so
like a-
surreal.
it was surreal.
Twilight
The
Zone.
most surreal, though, was when we would wake up because we would go to work at 6 p.m. We'd go through Burger King and get our coffee and drive through. But the villages would have music playing, and it was when the bars came out. And so they're all in their
Yeah.
golf carts drinking away, like smashed,
Yeah.
all these like 80, 90-year-olds.
in
and
a
we're just
Western
waking up.
theme motif.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all the restaurants had themes.
But it was really just like a TGI Fridays.
And there's the head. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, it's great stunt guys.
We had some wonderful stunt stuff.
I'll talk about it when it comes up, but we should talk about the stunt mishap.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
yeah.
Which was so weird. I had such a premonition about that.
You said, yeah.
I did, and I left. I was terrified.
We got in a
I
little
think
accident.
lessons were learned.
Yeah.
Lessons were learned that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They certainly were. They certainly were learned by me, but unfortunately, I wasn't the one making any of the calls. But
Exactly.
That's the day I learned.
But it was just low enough was the budget that they had to cut some corners, and I think that was the case of cutting the wrong corners.
Oh, definitely.
It
Yeah,
sounds very cryptic to the home audience, but we'll talk about it when it
We'll
comes
let
up.
you know.
You okay in there?
This road is beautifully lit, actually. You guys aren't surrounded by
There's
black.
the hand acting again. I love it.
Yeah, did they have the big, what do they call them, the big moons, right? He was lit.
Kino,
Yeah.
no,
Kino.
something, Super Dinos, I think
Super
they called them.
Dinos.
This was a much longer scene. We cut a ton of brother and sister stuff out for pacing.
Trish,
I remember this was a really funny
said hello.
exchange that we just kind of
get back in
trimmed.
the car.
And Gina's really great here.
Yeah.
Thanks. Is there a version of the movie where there's extras where any of the scenes?
Sadly, like your bug monologue and stuff,
Yeah.
we couldn't include them in the DVD because that was back when Ed and I didn't think far enough ahead. All those scenes were there, but it was scored with
Bummer.
other movie music that we couldn't
Gotcha.
get the rights to,
No.
so we couldn't show
It's
the
so
deleted.
cool to see
We
those.
couldn't show the deleted scenes. Now Ed may have them on a long time.
Oh, I'd love to see them
I
because
would
we've
too.
never seen them.
I'd love, yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is the first time we were on set with the first
With Jonathan.
with Jonathan in the movie, and Gina and I did a thing, and as did Jonathan, where we tried to avoided
Right.
each
Yeah,
other.
we didn't talk to him at all.
Yeah, I asked
until,
you guys not to, but then one night you guys bumped into each other by mistake. or
No,
something.
here's what happened. Jonathan did the cameo as the cop, which you'll see coming up.
Right.
You let him play a cop, and he came up to me and just started chit chatting and trying to pull one over on me. But I had seen his photos, so I knew what he looked like. And I was
gotcha,
like, dude,
gotcha.
after 2 months of
like,
going out of our
avoiding
way
you.
to avoid him
Yeah.
at lunch, we have to, PA will take us over when he's
Yeah.
gone. I mean, it was a pain in the ass to avoid this guy because it was a.
Very few people at this point recognize the campfire tone of the movie, even though, like, when people tell me about this scene and how horrifying it was, and I always go,
billboard's so
you do know
fantastic."
there's a billboard behind it
Right.
that says "Tastes
Tastes
so
so
darn
good."
good." You're watching a campfire story. The Italians and the French call it a fable, and they're so right.
Huh.
And this is exactly, horror movies to me are supposed to be fun. They're not supposed to scare you so bad that you stop having a good time. And yes, this is horrifying to me, don't get me wrong. But there's something about that billboard that takes it into another place where you can be horrified and at the same time know that somewhere someone is smiling.
Yeah, there's something very, it's playful. It's something very tongue-in-cheek about it. I was waiting for it. I was waiting.
Oh my goodness.
I was stalling.
Planning,
So
the planning that takes.
I was a little late.
Yeah, the first time MGM saw this version of the movie, they said that scene will never be in the finished film. And Ed Marks and I looked at each other and said, "What are you talking about? That is one of the first moments in the movie where you go, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this."
Yeah.
He was just incredibly unnerved. He came over and watched the first. We had put together the first 45 minutes.
This is, you've add some humor in here too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and you know what? It's
tongue
not even
kiss.
intentional. It's just what would happen. You know, I mean, we're still being loyal to the idea of the creeper.
It's really practical.
He just forgot.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Forgot the head.
what an idiot. Oh, get in there, you.
And Justin, you're really great at comedy. If I'm not mistaken, it's those moments of blackness when the doors remain closed before it opens again that really make
Yeah,
it
sure. Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how great I am today,
You are.
but
No, you're really funny.
thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't know from this commentary track. How'd they do that?
That's all
spinning?
digital, that turning
No.
sunflowers.
I didn't say stop. I said slow down.
That was half the budget.
We had so little digital in this because digital was still enormously expensive. We did the Creeper's Wings. That's basically the only digital things in this movie. Plus some,
Oh my God, this location
plus
was
some wire
rough.
removals.
The cats.
Uh,
That was
Oh,
rough.
God, yeah.
this was, and not only that, but once again, Gina,
Oh my God,
for
literally,
your stuff, we were running out of.
we more
now,
than ran
now
out.
the sun was coming
The
up.
sun
on your
was
stuff.
up, I think. You guys darkened it. Somehow you made it look like it was still night, but the sun was, it was a shining.
And through it all,
Did you have to change some of this because I was so allergic to cats?
I don't know.
I remember going
You
into...
you didn't tell me that until we were about
Yeah.
to shoot them running out of the house.
That's
I
a
didn't want there to
little
be any
audition
reason I'd
trick.
lose the job.
No, I love cats.
Oh, cats, yeah. Deathly allergic to them.
Well, through it all, though, Patty kept going, "Did you see what that girl just did for you? Did you
Patty,
see
I
what
love
that
you.
girl
Patty's
just
great.
I
did
love
for
you.
Eileen
I
Brennan.
think there was a part
So
of me,
good.
honestly, Gina, and this would not be true now. In fact, I wish we could do another movie together because I think it would be something amazing. But there was a part of me that was very much afraid of you. I know that probably doesn't
Really?
make a lot of sense.
I'm scary? Am I scary?
I can see that.
Really?
Justin,
You're very stupid.
to me, Justin was another nerd, so I just had a total bro love
Right.
thing. But yeah, I think I was scared of you. I wouldn't be now
Gina's
because
a
you
tough
and I
cookie.
both know how to play and get the beat,
Right.
which is a totally different story. Don't forget, I didn't
I think
know
I'm
you
so
back then.
easy.
Oh, it's not
Well,
that you
I mean-
did anything. It's not that
You're
you
ballsy.
did
Gina's got a...
you
It comes,
did anything.
it comes out in this movie.
Well, I'm
It's a
Sicilian.
real-
I mean, that's
yeah.
in there.
No,
So-
it comes out in the movie. I mean, like... that's
Dear
why the
Eileen
performance
passed
is
away. Was it last year or a year
2 years
before?
ago.
Oh my
Such a
God, she
sweet
was
woman.
a blast. And I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys remember this.
Hilarious. She was
And I'm sure if she had said this to James Cameron, he would have fired her. But do you remember shooting this scene? She ad-libbed some lines, and I'm sitting back in the chair, and I went, "Wow, that's really good. Why don't we do that?" And she hollered back to me, "You like those lines I just said?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, then why the fuck did you write this crap?" And
Oh, really?
that was the kind of jokey person
Yeah,
she
yeah,
was. And I
salty.
howled. I mean,
Yeah.
it just hit me in the funny place
Yeah.
that
She said it, but without smiling. She just said it very, very dry.
Yeah, so you just
Yeah. So there's a party that was like, now is she being serious?
exactly.
Yeah.
I hired her over the phone. I saw her and loved her, and I remember her coming up to the set the first day as I was directing, and she just walked up to me and she said, "Oh, good, you have a kind face," and she walked away.
Wow.
And
Bless her
then
heart.
about 30 seconds later, I heard her at the craft service truck. "What do you mean, no fucking chocolate? What kind of show is this?" And that was another one of her joking. I mean, except I didn't know that then. It just ran a chill down my
Yeah. I remember not knowing. When you don't
That's
people like
hilarious.
that. The first few days, I didn't know her sense of humor. So I
Oh,
was
we
like,
had
well,
trouble
she's-
with these cats, and they never did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
It was never that big cat moment that was just supposed to
You
be
wanted them all up at
spectacular.
once, right? Yeah.
There's some where you can literally see that someone has pushed the cat up
Yes.
with their hand. If
There
you're
must be
really
They were
good
good at
cat
it.
supposed to.
outtakes.
They were supposed to just lunge onto the screen and then lunge out the door. I mean, it was just.
But then
Justin,
you realize
do not
they were
make
cats.
A cat. Do not make a cat pun.
Those darn cats.
Oh no, I wouldn't even. I wouldn't dare.
That's the real sound that cat made. It was like so creepy.
I love the way she says it. She really underplays
really
it and
underplays
commits
it.
to like
Yeah,
petting the
beautifully.
cat and like it's not about the. It's great.
She really knew how to play it.
Hmm.
She had a little trouble with lines and memorization. We really had to piece together a lot of
Yeah,
what
but
she
she
said.
was so. There's something so authentic about.
Wonderfully authentic
Yeah.
about her.
Not a
But
false
if I recall correctly, the reason she had trouble with memorization is the poor woman had just had an accident or something, and
That's
she was
right.
on a lot of medication.
Yeah, her and Goldie Hawn were in a very bad accident that she was recovering from for years. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, I didn't know she. Wow.
Yeah, she was on a lot of medication and in pain and was just such a trooper through it.
Wow.
Oh yeah, when Justin grabbed her just now,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that pain was real. But
And then they gave me a
There.
cup for this scene because you'll see.
because she just gives you the one in the bajujos.
Yeah. Yeah, and it still kind of hurt.
I can't
hard.
see what they could put down there where it's not going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be the cats just cascading and water falling out. But you know, you take what you can get.
Yeah.
And you get the idea. She's got a lot of cats.
Hello?
Something's wrong.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, what do you want me to say? The gears are sticking.
Let's take 'em, Trish.
You're gonna break it. It's stuck in.
So back, he does one of those in the DeLorean.
Oh, you know what? It's back when you guys are driving, and I'll remember the line in a second.
Okay, this is when we got in the accident. This is when, so there's a stunt
Yeah,
creeper.
there's a stunt creeper that's supposed to. He's still supposed to hit the windshield, but I think he hit it wrong or something.
No, he's supposed to roll over the car.
Oh, was he?
And we ended up smashing into him. And I was with
That's
this-
why we kept in the flying. That's
Yes.
why we made it fly up.
Yes, and yet they kept the shot where the actual accident happens. And
His
so,
timing was just a little off, and so
and we were
hit
going too
in the
fast.
wrong way.
Right,
And yes.
there was a stunt driver in Gina's position.
And it should have been a stunt Justin as well.
Yeah, and she said, "Oh shoot!" Right before we rolled. I said, "Shoot what?" And she said, "Well, we're supposed to be going exactly 12 miles an hour, right?" No, not yet. 12 miles an hour. I said, well, aren't we? And she said, "Well, the speedometer's broken, but we'll just." I said, "Should we stop?" And she said, "No, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out." And
I
we,
tell you,
we ran into him.
that night I wanted to quit filmmaking, and then they made me go see him in the hospital with a card just to see that he was really okay. Because really, literally, I was just like, that was the worst thing that ever happened.
Well, it wasn't his fault. The poor guy was. He broke 3 ribs, and
But
I
when
got
you're the guy
glass all
that
over my
wrote
face.
the beat that made it happen, and you're the whole reason why it happened, it really weighed heavy on me. I thought about just quitting the
Oh,
whole
no.
the whole movie. I guess it
Wasn't your
happens all the
fault.
time, which I was not aware of, but not in my. It never happened on anything.
That
I'd
wasn't
done.
your fault. I think it was a stunt situation.
But I wrote it.
You didn't. Yeah, it's true. Here it is. And yeah, that's the shot. At least they used it.
It's so weird. I remember having such a premonition and waiting up because I got let go before you did that night.
No.
When you
Oh,
came,
that's right.
you walked up and I was like, what happened? And
Yeah.
oh, what was his name? The producer,
Tom
picture
Luce.
Tom Luce
Tom Luce.
came, to me and he was like,
Yes.
yep.
He's been on The Walking Dead now for 6 years.
And they, I mean, the makeup guys, Roger and Gunnar came over to me and they started picking glass out of my face.
That line I just said, they never
Oh.
are, is one of my favorite lines,
Oh,
and it was
and
your
it's-
line. Do you remember that? You
No.
didn't want it.
Oh, really?
I was like, I'll take it. I like it.
Oh,
They never are.
fantastic.
That was actually a
This is
dairy
a
line.
I
great.
can see
This
now
is
in
this
that
is really a
mindset.
great Trisha moment right here. She's starting to take control, total control.
Yeah. Real balls.
But we switched a few lines in the scene. You and
Which
I.
is, you know what? That's when you know you're working with real actors, because when you give a line here because it works better
Yeah.
from you instead of that's
Or they're
mine,
just too
you
chicken
don't
shit
get
to
it.
say it themselves. They don't know how to make it work. You can have it.
Look, I'm trying to nobilize you.
Thanks,
Okay?
thanks, Victor. And this was
I always like the tire tracks in his on his arms.
Do you know I never noticed that until now?
it's a great shot.
Now, this is our next surprise. That we wanted the creeper to keep developing into something just when you thought you knew what it was. And this was supposed to be like just an incredible moment, which in the original script, remember, was after you guys raced a train, screeched to a halt on the other side, and he jumped over the train and came down on your car.
Yes, there was a whole crash and a
And
train
then the
thing
wing
and
came out, and it was just like, we really wanted this wing to be a, you don't know what we're doing here, audience. You don't have no idea what we're doing here right now. I love to be surprised in movies. I just love when I don't know what's going to happen. It just,
That is cool. Jeez, it holds up. I mean, CGI has gotten so much better now, but it's not
you know, it's exactly.
bad.
Those are two great close-ups.
Those are
you guys.
CGI eyebrows.
You have to admit, well, you don't have to admit, you guys, but those faces are great. We picked great faces for this movie. I love
made
this
it.
shot. You know, it's just, her hair's flying back there, you know, and because the windshield's gone and his wing sticking up like Wile E. Coyote, just, you know, like kind of crashed down.
It is. It's very Looney Tunes.
Francis Coppola was here this night, and it took us forever to get this shot, and I felt like, does he think I don't know what I'm doing?
I have
Oh,
pictures
God.
of us
I do
with
too.
Francis outside this location.
Yeah. Oh, that must have been nerve-wracking, Victor. To have him.
Whenever he sat in, come on, look at me. I'm just a,
It was Tom.
there's Tommy. And Brandon.
Brandon. Stubbs.
Brandon features hugely in the
Yeah.
in Jeepers
Jeepers
3,
3.
Yeah, I've seen
and
him.
becomes the sheriff. Becomes the sheriff 23 years
He's
later.
a good actor. Really, really
A
natural.
wonderful actor.
Car thief, you got taste for shit.
I love this. I just love the way everyone brought everyone to everyone else in this scene. I just love shots like that.
I understand that, Mother.
And you kids.
Where did we shoot? Was this?
This was an old school that was shut down, and they
School.
redressed it as a.
The Powell County Sheriff's
I didn't know what bolo meant back then, by the way. And
Uh.
people submitted those pictures for their friends and stuff. So I don't know who was freaking up on that
Don't
board.
wanna wait here, Mom. We just want to get the hell out of here.
They're probably watching.
Tim
now.
Sullivan's like a director. Brad, he was a friend of Brad's, I guess.
We don't want to be out here any more than you do. Me too.
Oh God, I remember.
I'll talk to you in a few hours.
Donnie let you guys. I mean, Donnie really lit you guys great. I mean, this is some beautifully lit police station. Lots of rim lights. Oh, Patricia.
Trish Belcher.
I've had a lot of conversations with her since then. She hates that she did this. Psychic. You know, every actor has a
I know, we
regret about
nitpick
something
ourselves.
they did. 'Cause exactly. You just nitpick
That's all I've
yourself
been
way
doing on
too
this
much.
commentary. Yeah, but you know,
She did a wonderful
She did a
job.
great
in
job.
this.
You have to be
She was
kind.
another solid hire.
I see her all the time. I see her in so many things.
She's in a lot.
Yeah.
Just saw her
She
on
works
some
all the
TV show
time.
playing a judge or something.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
know.
the judge on Bones. I think she has a recurring on Bones.
Wasn't Bone. I don't know.
persons in a fire in the next county. Go do something useful.
Maybe it was.
You know, you can probably attest to this. So fun. I've obviously loved working with you, but it was also it was exciting when another actor, you know, when we got to
Yeah.
just interact with, because it was us for most
Yeah.
of the thing, and so it was fun working with Patricia.
And she was excited to be there too. I
Yeah.
remember that. She really,
She was very.
I saw
She was very.
This is a great
honest.
time to mention Bennett Salve and his score, because the cue that's creeping in right here, no pun intended, is so beautiful when you listen to it on its own, and it's so eerie. He really was another character in the movie that was perfectly cast.
those cats too.
I just got my hair plugs put in, and you can barely tell. I did a great job.
I need you to listen and not talk, okay?
Truth be, I'd be lying if I said I knew that telling you this would do any good.
Any good? What does that mean?
What do you guys think of when you see this now? I'm really curious.
My first thought is we look so young.
Young. I know. I mean, I know that's
we were
like
babies.
yeah. But it was such a great time. It was such a thrilling time in my life. I was on my own really for the first time, and I couldn't believe I was in a movie like this. It was just so
You guys had the leads in this
exciting.
movie, which probably to you at that time felt like, well, it's a little horror movie, you know, hack and slash.
Me?
You know, I don't know. I'm
No.
just kind of projecting.
Oh no! In fact, before I did it, I'd done a play. Right before I did a play with Sam Rockwell, who you both know,
Yeah.
who
Right.
you both knew
Love
before.
Sam.
And Sam said, I said, you know, and I was kind of downplaying it, just self-deprecating, kind of like as excited as I was. And he said, and he was going to do a David Mamet movie, so we were helping each other with lines, you know, and I was sort of self-conscious because his was a Mamet thing, and he said, hey man, you got to treat this like it's Hamlet. He said, treat it like it's Hamlet.
And you do the best Sam impression.
was great advice.
You do the
Good
best
for
Sam
him.
impression.
Hey man. Oh, Victor. I know Victor. Oh, yeah. We did a movie together, man.
When I first met you, you reminded me of Sam so much.
Oh, not only that, when you first got to location and you were going through
You said that.
wardrobe fitting, I said, you sound like Sam. I don't
Yeah.
want you to sound like Sam.
Yes, I
You're
picked-
doing a Sam impersonation, I said.
He had such an effect on me because I had just done this play with him, and we had become good friends. That we had done Galaxy Quest the summer before, and then we kind of reconnected doing this play. And I can hear it in this movie.
He rubbed off on you for
You
sure.
really did.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of that.
MGM wanted this shot taken out because it was too funny, and they didn't want the creature to be funny. And I thought, whether you think it's funny or not, it's so great. His foot is gone.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
struggling in. He's gonna get what he wants.
They wanted that taken out, but they were
regardless.
okay with him eating like French kissing the head.
They wanted that out. They wanted this out. You know, they really had an idea of what this movie should be.
Huh.
And just to remind you guys, they dumped this movie on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I remember.
That's the graveyard of movies where they dump
Yeah.
movies they don't think are going to do business.
I
We broke
forgot,
a
and then
world
it was a
box
big
office
deal.
record because
16 point something.
they dumped us. Yeah, it was the biggest Labor Day opening in the history of cinema.
Yes.
And then next year they followed it up with FearNet because they thought, oh, we can do this now. FearNet crapped out completely, and the year following was Jeepers 2, and we even broke our own record. My point is, MGM threw this onto the garbage pile of Labor Day weekend, and we established Labor Day weekend as a weekend where you could make big
Yeah,
money
that's
and where people
right.
go to movies.
That was the great.
Yeah, I remember talking to you a few weeks before the movie was going to open and saying, "What's going on?" And you said, "Honey, I'm sorry. I don't think they like the movie. I just don't think they do." And then cut to like 2 weeks later, billboards were everywhere.
Yeah.
They really did.
And they made a
really
last
did
minute-
spend some money, huh? I
Yeah.
wonder what changed their mind.
But it was like last minute. It was like the 2 weeks before the movie came out. It just was on Sunset Boulevard. Do you
Oh, yeah.
remember
Really?
that?
No, I was in Connecticut. I was like I was living with my parents in Connecticut.
It was on Sunset Boulevard, huge, everywhere you turned, every bus stop. But
No kidding.
it was just right before it came out.
Yeah. And I've got a radio commercial. You know, I should just send it to you as an MP3. They did some radio ads with some reviews. I'll send each of you a copy. It's great. There's clips of your lines from the movies, and we got incredible raves.
It's funny. We didn't do any press really in the States, and then
And then you guys went to Tokyo.
we
and
went
had
to
some kind of
Tokyo.
experience.
and they did a whole thing there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's when I
That
said.
Tokyo trip was trippy.
That's when I said I was doing an interview, and I learned the word for scary, which was kawaii. And kawaii is cute and cuddly. So they asked me to describe the monster, and I said sugoi kawaii, and they said, "Oh, kawaii."
Okay, this is.
Oh dear.
It's a weird time for a hand job scene.
We found
Oh, is that not what that? Oh,
we
never mind.
found a gentleman who we think his arm had been bitten off by an alligator. But
yeah.
we ended up having to use a makeup arm because his arm didn't match the. I don't know. We went to ridiculous lengths for authenticity and then ended up using a makeup arm. That is his drool coming out his mask on this hand. This was the night Breck almost passed out. He was so encased in all that stuff, and he
Really?
literally started to black out.
I don't know how he did that. I have
And
so
that
much more
heat.
respect.
Right?
I did a movie 2 years ago where I had to wear a full body suit, kind of monster movie like this, and I was in that thing for 4 days, and it was a nightmare. I don't know how he
tough.
did it.
Giselle here to the big blue Winnebago. She's no doubt blocking the driveway wheel.
Creepers, where'd you get those?
I've always loved that shot of you right there, Gina.
I heard playing while one of you is screaming.
There's such a great dawning of what in the fuck are
Yeah.
you talking about?
And we really,
Knock it off.
What exactly are you doing here?
Up top. Anybody on ground level? We have an 1199. I repeat, an 1199.
This is Tubbs. Go ahead.
it's the kind of stuff you really sort of have to commit to, or else it becomes
Yeah.
absurd.
You really do.
There's a fine line between
You can't just sort of underplay it because
Yeah.
because you're not sure about it. You have to
Yeah.
jump in with both feet.
Yeah, I kept thinking
Come
about
on, I
it.
said.
Yeah, if you were to just kind of half-ass it, it
Yeah, it
could be
wouldn't
absurd.
People don't realize that. Remember how slippery this floor was? People were always sliding and falling on their ass
I
in this
don't
scene.
remember
Right there.
that. God, I remember. I'm trying to. I put myself back in this. Like, this is the day that Jonathan. So you'll see Jonathan coming
Jonathan
up.
is the cop. We had. I wanted to do a scene that was like an old radio show where you only heard it
Ah, yeah.
because that's so much scarier usually.
He what?
Yeah, that's cool. This is your imagination. I mean, you haven't seen
You really have to use your
Cloverfield yet, but-
imagination. Exactly.
Cloverfield Lane is like that.
Oh, is it good? For
Well,
them?
just you realize the imagination, whatever you're conjuring is out there, is a lot more
There's Breck.
terrifying.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the bald guy, and that's Jim Churchman, our stunt coordinator, next to him.
Talk. He's gone. He's gone, Sergeant. This guy just climbed up.
And I'll always remember this actor's name is Hazenhall because in the end title there's a typo where he's called
Hassel.
Office with hole in chest. Not officer, office with hole in chest.
For a shaker, Sergeant. We just lost him on the stairwell. He's heading right up.
I was telling Donnie, Jeepers 3, we're going to use all kinds of peck and paw slow motion, Donnie. All kinds of peck and paw slow motion. He goes, you use slow motion in every one of these, Victor. Don't you remember the Jeepers, like this scene, we're about to use some slow motion again. It's funny, I just totally blanked.
One day there'll be a director saying, we're going to use Jeepers slow motion.
These are all like real cops
were
and
cops,
stuff,
yeah,
and
that's
we
right.
found out that
That's
they were
right.
not good actors. That's why we stuck. That's why we stuck Breck in there and some other people.
Just like most actors wouldn't be great cops.
There you go.
Well said.
Slow motion. Oof, that is.
I have a regret about that shot actually,
Why?
because his body should convulse as the creeper comes up because he's pulling something out of it, and he's just.
Yeah,
standing
it's
there
true.
like-
The few times I've seen somebody's heart get ripped out of their body, they've
They
been a
convulse.
little convulsive.
You know, I want Justin around every time I have a criticism of myself because he takes it away instantly.
Likewise, by the way. Oh, I don't like my voice there. Cool shot.
This is Francis. Francis was here that day too.
Oh man.
They had to wire this with squibs.
Shooting squibs.
I don't know what the fuck they're shooting at. We never really pulled that one off. I thought they hear him gulping stuff, and they're supposed to just shoot into the shadows. But I don't know if that ever came across. Another really great dramatic scene that I swear you do not see in movies like this. And I'm very proud of the writing, the acting, and kind of just the whole shape of this monster movie. I want to believe that's why it's lived so long. It's on IFC now, and it's on
Yeah.
Sci-Fi. It's on MTV. I mean, this movie has legs.
Oxygen.
This is like 15 years after it was made, almost. You know.
I hurt my foot this day, and my palm was bruised for a couple of days.
Oh,
later.
when you were banging on the.
I realized, even in every take, even when I was in the background, which now I know not to do that, and kicking it, which you don't even see my foot.
I thought if you knew what I saw, maybe you could change it. Why the hell do you think I made
That is some gorgeous Donnie lighting, and a gorgeous woman too. But that is one of the things he does so well.
I had a hard time with the dialogue in the scene. I
Yeah.
remember that. I was struggling. It was one of those where you just commit.
Yeah, commit. Yeah. Patricia really commits here too.
Yeah.
She's great.
So she's already seen Justin die, basically, and she hasn't had the guts to tell them. I mean, that's what I get from this.
Yeah.
You run up the stairs and hide, but I don't know what happens to me.
Jeepers creepers.
But we misinterpret it and think she's saying that I die.
We totally misdirect it because we think it's going to be the beautiful girl that gets...
While screaming in the dark.
Talk about misdirecting. We even throw focus on the misdirection. Make no mistake about this.
They cut out the makeout session here because it just felt like inappropriate. It felt. I remember they tested it. It felt
You and
inappropriate.
Spike
Yeah.
Lee asked us to tone it down. That's really what happened.
Why all of a sudden are they full on making out?
I said you don't.
Especially since I'm watching,
Yeah, it just didn't seem
lurking
right.
very closely.
Well, no, because then you joined in at one point and they were like, "That's definitely not."
This might have been just more of an acid trip or a mushroom.
Get upstairs!
And he really comes down the wall. Now it'd all be digital, but we really brought this guy
Yeah,
down
that's
the
right.
wall.
How'd they do that?
He was on a wire, but he had to be so physically strong because in all the rehearsals he kept sliding down,
Wow.
sliding down. But
Jesus. Okay.
She don't.
this was her
smell.
first day shooting, and this is like her second shot. She just got off the plane or something horrible. She just got thrown right into it.
Oh, that freaks me. I have such a neck thing. It's like my big fear. If I walk in a dark room, I hold my neck. I have such
That's
a
very-
anytime I
well,
see
that's
like,
because, that's interesting though, because you're so soft and vulnerable there. You know.
Yeah.
it really freaks me out when I see anyone's neck pulled back or they slice a neck. Oh,
Unless it's a romantic thing, the neck is great for that. The neck is fabulous
This.
for that.
Speaking of necks, when he's choking me at the end here, I kept. He's Jonathan's such a nice guy. He was, and I kept saying to him, I kept like kind of elbowing him, saying choke. Like I really wanted him to, but he was very delicate.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to be.
I love this.
I love this scene too. I just absolutely love it. Now, there's a couple of things that the audience never gets, and that's my fault, not theirs. But I love that it's a two-way mirror, clearly, because it's an interrogation room. But his hand has the tattoo
Yeah.
on it of the hand he just ate down in the cell.
I didn't get
People
that.
don't get that. It's just it wasn't shot right. But this is one of the greatest moments in the movie right here. Just
Cool.
that she is so close, that they are so close, and yet.
So far.
And I didn't know how to cap that one, Justy. Thanks. I like the way he kind of groans when she gets taken away. Grr. Oh my gosh, this was just a crazy. This whole thing was so crazy. Copernicus would like you to know those feet were never supposed to be shown. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
right. I did my job. And this, oh my goodness.
I remember makeup was going crazy in the makeup department
yeah.
because he kept getting his makeup all over our faces. Like there was like
yeah.
gray stuff all over us.
Yeah, I remember that smell of the latex. This was an intense night.
He really can't make up his mind, can he?
Oh, this one is.
Well, this was one you were talking us through. A lot of this was improv. You talked us through this.
I have no memory
You
of
talked
that.
us through this whole end.
That's funny. I have no memory of
Yeah.
that at all.
It's funny, I remember playing tricks with myself because I knew it was a guy in a suit, but I remember tricking myself into thinking it was a guy that had done horrible things. It was in the suit, and so when he was being so nice to me in between takes, I was like, "This is really frustrating." I was like, "Hey man, do you want some water?" I was like, "Just choke me, just shut up."
Oh dear.
And this wouldn't work. I remember the things that were they had a this.
Yikes, that sounded good in the headphones.
The holy name of...
This is a very touching scene. You guys, really, kudos.
This is all improv. You talked us through this whole
yeah.
scene.
You don't
You were
want
feeding us lines.
Well, you were damn good in it.
whatever you want.
Very good in it.
Take it from me.
You know, when we had to take out the huge train finale at the end where Justin and you steal the creeper truck, Francis assured me that I had written such an emotional ending that the audience would not miss what I thought needed to be there. And in a way, really he did. I mean,
No, people remember this. I was in
Gina
a,
has, Gina just has such,
Yeah.
she has an amazing moment here. And our heart's already breaking because we like Derry so much. But Gina just
Think for a second.
she caps the whole thing so beautifully.
It shows you don't need these like big set pieces, big loud set pieces. You know, you've been following these two people the whole time. You might as well trust in that.
In that way, Francis was right.
Yeah,
It has an emotional finale instead of a...
I can see his contacts every time I see it. I always think.
I know, and me too. It just drives the bugs
yeah.
the shit out of me.
I don't notice it.
And that was the first debut, Jason. A little shout out to Jason.
Oh, that's right, on the green screen.
Yeah.
man, in there.
I remember I was in a cab in London years later, and the cab driver went, "Take me, take me." And I was like,
Oh,
"What is he
really?
talking?" It took me a few seconds to realize what he was doing.
Oh,
He started
really?
reciting the whole scene. Yeah.
This is like,
funny.
this really, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't have any words for this. But
Somebody
we
stopped.
did it. We did it so
somebody
beautifully.
stopped me to ask for directions once, and he said he stopped halfway through, and he goes, "Oh, hey man, I know you. I've seen both your movies." And I said, "Which?" I said, "Which ones?" He goes, "Come on, man, you know which movies." I said, "No, which ones?" My friend was with me. He was laughing. He goes, "Man, you know, Jeepers Creepers 1 and Jeepers Creepers 2."
Well, you do make quite an impression in the second one. I mean, you do have a lot to say with no eyeballs. That kind of burns into people's brain.
And is your shirt off, or?
It's ripped.
Okay.
It's ripped.
We see your abs. Then.
And now here's another moment where I had to really let Gina down as an actor because I thought we should just set up a B camera and punch in close to you on this. But we didn't have a C camera. They were going to pull the plug on us.
Oh, yeah.
And this was a big moment for Tricia, a very important moment for Tricia.
And we almost didn't get it.
And Donnie, no, not Donnie, someone, I won't say their name, talked me into, okay, just shoot it in a wide like Kubrick would do it or something. And you were so upset about it and had every right to be.
Because I remember this was supposed to be a really big scene for us.
yeah.
And then
Of
last minute it's
course.
like,
It's
we have no light.
I was
The
hanging out
sun's
at
up.
Walmart.
They literally wanted us to, they literally asking us to pull the plug. In fact, I'm surprised they let us do this.
Yeah.
I would operate differently now. You know, I've learned how to take my power and say, no, we're doing this. You know. You
It still works, but it's
We've
all in
learned.
silhouette. Yeah.
We've all learned a lot.
It is.
I've
And
also
you
learned.
can't milk every moment of a movie too. Every moment's not going to be what you.
And this is a great capper for you.
I've
I
also
really
learned that
like this. And there's an
Walmart's a
illegal
pretty evil
shot we
corporation.
got. An illegal shot of a black crow
I
flying.
really need to
in
understand
Florida.
this crow thing.
I forgot how many crows there are. How integral crows are in this movie.
Yeah. And there's my brother.
Was this the last day? Was this one of the?
I don't remember our last day was
No, it was on stage.
Was
Yeah,
on
that's
stage
right.
with the tunnel.
That's right.
You slid down. That was the last shot. You
That's
sliding
right.
down yourself.
Yeah.
And then we
Oh,
put
this
real
was a
crows with
reshoot.
fake crows when we shot this shot, and not one of those real crows back there is moving. They literally are standing perfectly still next to their stuffed counterparts, so they could all be stuffed for all we know. We just every take exactly the same, like
Not
they knew,
unlike Russell Crowe.
like they knew what we wanted. And
my
were gonna
God,
give it
just-
to
Well,
us. This is an old slaughterhouse, which is just so depressing in itself. Just so the karma was so bad in there.
oh God, yeah. They didn't have to dress it up much. I remember.
No, they
put
really
a
didn't.
few cobwebs in.
And it started raining, and then we added some rain, but since it was already leaking all over the place, I think we had to augment it or something. This was tough, and this was Justin in the creeper
Yeah,
suit.
I forget, I'm trying to remember how long it took. I think it was like 5 or 6 hours getting in. This
Oh
movie.
yeah, and then we ended up reshooting it anyway.
Yes,
Because Francis
yes.
said, you know what? You don't sell it. I don't get what you're saying. You know about that.
That's right, because this was a tracking shot where I got. But this is me, right?
Yeah, that's you.
Sewing.
This is all you.
But originally, this is me. So this is the original footage, right?
Right, and then
We.
we're gonna cut when you wipe across screen.
Yeah.
It's you again. That might actually be Breck.
That's yeah.
Yeah, that looks like Breck. But we had just you stare straight into the camera as the creeper, and the audience didn't get that was you.
They had to do a mold of my body too. I remember which.
And a lot of people have asked to buy it, I guess, from Penicus.
Penicus
Oh
has
wow.
Yeah. Although
gross
it's
and
not your
flattering.
genitals. It's not your genitals. It's someone else's genitals.
Yes,
on
that's
it.
right.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
I don't know whose.
I do. His name's Sean Donahue. He's a
I thought it was his brother Dick, but
he's
I
a
guess
he's
not.
Oh my god.
he's a genital guy.
This was my spa day. You guys sent me to the spa.
That was
Joe?
my eye.
That was you?
And when I originally saw this, with the three women in front of me were getting up and saying, "Man, I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad he died." And my mother was.
That's a terrible thing.
Yeah,
to
and
say.
my mother
your
was next to
poor
me
mom had to
and
hear
was
that.
sobbing. They took your eyes. Oh my god.
Did they know it was you?
No,
Anyone
no, and
recognize you when you
and
were-
my mother started. I could tell she was about to launch into these women as they were, applauding the fact that I died. And I said- I put my hat down.
I liked her. I forgot about her. I liked her.
Oh yeah.
Eberhard Kaiser. I think that was the guy I insulted by accident.
Final thoughts. This
Yeah.
is like I haven't seen this in so long, and watching it with you guys is so weird, and it points out to me my theory about movies, which I continually tell people. Everyone sees a different movie. This is such a perfect example of that. Then the reviewer is always about the reviewer, and everybody sees a different movie, even
Yeah.
when you're sitting right next to them.
Sure.
This is
That's
Because
the beauty of it.
this was a wild ride for me, but seeing it through your guys' eyes, actors have to be the most trusting creatures on the planet because they give their all, and then you take it, and they never see it until
Mm-hmm.
you're done with it, and you don't know what the hell they're going to do with it or what it's going to be.
But it's also the idea, which is thrilling, it's also and terrifying at the same time, is the fact that it's permanent now.
Yeah.
Now, 16 years later, I would never remember any of this. Now it's conjuring all these stories and the things that happened while you're, around the shooting of it, which
Yeah.
is it's so nice. It's
You
such
know-
a nice little time capsule.
What's weird for me is I see every shot that I wished had worked differently, or I see a cut I wish I'd done
Interesting.
different. All I see some stuff I see that works great, and I just love it, and I'm just thankful to the gods, the movie gods, that it works. But it's such a grocery list of things I wish I could have gotten better, which is not really. That's not the way to watch a movie.
No, but
But
I
I
think
think we
everyone
all
does.
we all feel that way.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have. I mean, gosh, I have auditions from 10 years ago. I remember and go,
Yeah,
if I had
yeah.
just done, why didn't I? I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a natural thing.
Yeah, I think the takeaway for me is just how fortunate I was to have for this opportunity, and how grateful I'll always be to you for giving me this opportunity. And
Yeah, well, we should talk about the casting a little
that.
bit while we have time. I'd never seen Ed. You had a recurring role on Ed,
Yeah.
but I saw the space movie.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, and you only have like maybe 8 lines in that, but your scenes are so awesome. I remember saying, and I'm not complimenting myself, that's the kid right there. That's the kid. That's the brother. That is so perfect for the brother. Your mom makes you take the trash out, and you're trying to save the universe. And there's a scene at the opening at the Comic-Con where you're asking a question and you get totally shut down by Tim Allen or whoever is doing the
that
thing.
was Shalhoub, Tony Shalhoub.
You're
There
so
was
good
just
in that movie.
something
I love Tony.
exactly.
Yeah. It's,
And Gina Phillips, we had cast another actor, and they had such a dick agent
Oh, I didn't know that.
that she wouldn't come in and read with Justin or anyone else.
I didn't know
And
that.
we said,
I was not the first
Fuck
choice.
it. We said, fuck it. Let's look at some more people, and that's how we found you.
Wow, I didn't know
So
that.
it was really meant to be, I think.
Yeah,
oh.
very cool.
Agents fuck everything up. So that if clients knew how many things they have fucked up for their clients, I have a feeling that there would be like just murder throughout.
Well, my
Hollywood
agent
land.
sent me in for this, so
Greens.
you know.
Good for them.
You know.
There's good ones too, isn't
Yeah.
there?
They're not my agents anymore, but
You recognize
they
any
did
of
send
these
me in
people?
for this.
Um,
Yeah.
Michael Arbogast.
I kept calling Everett Jack McClellan Everett. No, I'm kidding. I was trying to.
I remember Michael Arbogast, our physical effects guy. His dad was the Arbogast that worked on Jaws. I remember that.
Those transpo guys were great. I remember that.
Hey, I have a question for you, Victor.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I know the ending was supposed to be a big train wreck, and I remember there was some scene with the truck where there was stabbing up through it. Can you tell us what the ending actually was?
Yeah, you guys Brandon gets the. I may not have time. Brandon gets the. Brandon lets you guys escape. They're holding the creeper at bay, and you guys slither down the wall and run out. And you run down to the parking lot. Your car is totaled. The only thing running is the creeper truck, and it's still idling. You guys jump in, and it's covered with goop. But Justin takes the wheel, and you get in, and you guys start to drive away as bodies start to fly out the windows up there, and the creeper flies after you. He flies to the creeper truck and punches a hole in and drags you out and
Yes.
sniffs you and then throws you away. This is the scene that happens now in a much smaller version. Then he tries to pull Justin off the steering wheel, but Justin is trying to drive, and the train comes up beside the truck, the train we've established earlier. And Justin is literally his feet are locked into the steering wheel where he's trying to steer it while the creeper's trying to pull him out, and he totally selflessly turns the truck into the train and explodes them both.
God, I wish they'd done that.
But the next day,
Sounds so great.
the next day you're sobbing and you see the bird, and then the film ends exactly
Right.
like it ends now.
So it's pretty
There you
much
go.
the same.
Yeah, exactly the
Well,
same.
but it's good that people heard that if they do
Thank
a
you,
reboot.
American Zoetrope. Francis,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Rolling
Francis.
up the window again. Thank you, Francis.
Thanks whoever just watched this whole thing.